Hello there, welcome to the channel, welcome back. Today we are testing new makeup from a variety of different brands. We have some holiday collections from brands like MAC, and also we have something new from Pat McGrath. Oh my god, when was the last time I talked about Pat on this channel? I almost can't remember, but actually in this video I do remember, and I go into that whole bit. So definitely stick around if you're curious about the Gilded Nirvana and all that tea. Anyways, I hope you guys are here for some chatty makeup tutorial slash review of new products. This is the look that I came up with. Kind of Christmassy, kind of like holiday appropriate, using all this new stuff and walking you through it and just having a grand old time. So cheers to that. Subscribe if you aren't already, and let's get started. 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. You know what's really annoying? This. And you know what I like to do for that? I take brow gel and I just slick it back, because brow gel is typically stronger than gel and it works like a charm. This is how I get rid of all my flyaways. Just a little hack for you guys. I've been doing this ever since I was little. I used to use the Maybelline clear brow mascara for my little flyaways and also my baby hairs, but now I just use any brow gel that I have. And today I use the Benefit 24-hour brow setter on my brows and also for my little flyaways. Alrighty, I have a new primer that I want to talk to you guys about. And this is a primer that was recommended by one of you, by one of my subbies. It's this sealed active scar primer by the brand Topicals. I've never actually heard of this brand until this person commented that this is what they use, this is what they swear by. They actually described their skin as very porous and having some acne scars. So they said that this is what really helps them kind of smooth out the texture of their skin. And so I want to try it. This was like the first time that I literally didn't even think twice. This was the fastest purchase I've ever made. I said, okay, you know what? I'm sold. I need it. And so here I am trying it. Sealed by Topicals. Basically, the way that you're supposed to apply this is right over your scarred or like porous area, and not too much product either. So I don't know if you can see. If I turn to the side, you can kind of see how much product is on the center of my face here. And then I'm going to use this nice medical looking spoolie. It's not actually medical, but I'm going to smooth it over my skin. So hopefully this will fill in some of my acne scars. I don't have large acne scars. I have these like tiny, almost pore-like acne scars, specifically in this area and also right here. And so because I also have oily skin, and I have some enlarged pores in this area. They don't really look like scars. They look mostly like pores, but every derm has told me that these are indeed acne scars. They're supposedly really easy to get rid of if I do like a whole set of lasers. I actually haven't gotten around to doing that because that is a commitment. There is downtime, and I just haven't had that free time in my life to do that. But I don't know, maybe I will. Comment below, let me know if you guys recommend any sort of procedures for this sort of thing. But I have to say, at first try, this looks really, really, really smooth. I should have probably showed you in a really close-up camera what this looks like. But you know what? If you've been watching me for a long time, you probably already know what it looks like up close without the product. So now let me show you. I don't know if it looks any smoother. Right now, the focus is really on all of my freckles and little bumps here and there, but here we go. This is the skin. And then you're supposed to let this sit on your face for like a good 30 seconds. And I've tried this before. I would say I'd probably like to give it a minute or so. And apparently the difference between this primer and other silicone primers is that this uses medical grade silicone. I don't know exactly what that means, but let's see how the makeup lays on top. For my makeup today, I'm going to be reaching for the Yummy Skin Serum Skin Tint by DANESSA MYRICKS. Not a new product, but there is a new shade. So typically I use shade 7, which is a medium warm, but they recently launched a 4.5, which is a light to medium warm. So now that I have no more tan on my face, I want to try this new shade. All right, so this is the two side by side. This is the light medium warm, and this right here is the medium warm. Oh, and I didn't apply the primer to my forehead because my forehead is literally so smooth. It's so smooth, I give myself compliments for it. And maybe that's why I'm not like as in love with the rest of my skin on my face, because my forehead is just so stark smooth compared to the rest of it, you know? There's a contrast, and that contrast pisses me off. All right, this shade looks a little bit light, I will say, but I do love the undertone. Tea. We got tea. We got tea. Just a little bit of tea though. Actually, I think this is a perfect match. It's really doing a great job of covering my redness. And I'm not really packing on the product so much to the center of my face because I never really apply too much product there. I really prefer to add it to the perimeter where I have more breakouts. And I guess because of the texture, I'm always just a little bit hesitant to start my makeup application from the center outwards as opposed to the other way. The other way just works better for me. Honestly, such a great skin tint. I need to be reaching for it more often. Maybe I didn't reach for it as often in the winter months because they didn't have this great shade. 4.5, light, medium, warm. This is so good. I mean, definitely a little bit on the light side compared to like my neck and everything else, but that's okay. I still have my 7. So with my 7, I'm gonna do just a little bit of contouring. I wouldn't even call this contouring. I'm just kind of blending in the 2 shades together to make my face a little bit less flat and just a little bit more dimensional and alive. There we go. So again, not a new product, but definitely some new shades in there. I also noticed there was some 0.5s in the tan to deep category. So if you haven't had a shade in this, definitely take a look again because you just might be in luck. Okay, there we go. So good. So good. To take this down to my neck just a little bit, just to brighten the neck and bring it all together like that. Yeah. Wow. Oh, she is looking glowy. I really like the finish of the skin tint. It has such a nice, bouncy, reflective sort of finish, but it doesn't look oily. All right, quick. Pink Pomelo from Huda to brighten these bags. Pink Pomelo is actually my favorite under eye brightener shade from the Huda line because it's the perfect balance between pink and peach. And then for my concealer, I'm going to go for Yummy Skin again. Shade 7 is what I'm currently using. In the dead of winter, I like to use shade 6. I guess we're getting there. I feel like the shortest day of the year is right around the corner. What is it, like December 21st or something like that? Seasonal depression, let's go. Oh my God, those days when it gets dark at like 4 p.m., those days when you really question your existence. And yeah, I go through it, that's for sure. I used to brace myself for those days, but now I'm kind of just learning to accept that the day after is when the days actually start getting longer. So you're on the right path. There's always a bright side, I guess. All right, skin tint is on. Next, we have some new blushes, and this actually came in a PR package from a brand that I haven't gotten PR from in a while. Pat McGrath just recently sent me the latest Gilded Nirvana collection, including all of these blush duos, including an eyeshadow palette that I'm going to be testing here today, including the Gold 001, which was probably the very first product that they launched from their initial launch. And the reason why they're doing this is because it's their 10-year anniversary. Apparently, Pat, the woman, just did the Victoria's Secret Angels show, so this is all kind of coming at the same moment. The 10 years, the Victoria's Secret show, and now the holiday collection, the Gilded Nirvana. Yes. But yeah, I actually kind of started to forget about my Pat McGrath palettes. I guess because, I don't know, they haven't really sent any PR packages to anyone. They haven't really had any events, and I feel like it's really hard for brands like that to make their products reachable, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't think of Pat McGrath as like the top brand to reach for when, let's say I'm going out to an event or whatever. But yeah, recently they sent this collection to a lot of us. I noticed it all over Instagram stories. People were posting it. And yeah, I wonder why that is. And so I was talking about it earlier with our swatch model, and he has some opinions. So I'm going to ask him to give us some opinions. That's your cue. I've been trying to, literally. Like, the moment I said Pat McGrath, you were supposed to get up and you were supposed to be like, oh yeah, I'm wondering if you could share some of your insights into what you were saying earlier. You were like, I know why they haven't sent PR packages and I know why they're doing it now. Tell us.
Oh, I don't know for a fact, but my opinion, I know she went to LVMH, I think it was, or she ended up becoming the head creative director for
Louis Vuitton, that's right. Yes, that is true.
It had to have had an impact on her company. I mean, when, you know, it's kind of hard to be able to be the creative director for both sides.
That's right.
And then secondly, you know, I've read that her company took a big hit on the value of terms of valuation of what the company, her company, was actually valued at.
That's right. That's right. So what you're saying is, and this is public knowledge, you guys can look this up if you want to, but apparently a few years ago, Pat McGrath Labs was valued at nearly $2 billion. $2 billion. Apparently it's lost its valuation by as far as 88%. which is really, really stark. Don't
Yes.
quote me on that,
Crazy number.
but it is a really, really insane number. So a lot of people have been posting videos kind of like about the rise and fall of Pat McGrath. And also we've been seeing a lot of Pat McGrath palettes at places like Marshall's and TJ Maxx and CVS, which is crazy because Pat McGrath palettes were so iconic. They were so expensive. People were collecting them. And here they are at your local TJ Maxx for 20 bucks. What?
Which you should definitely go get it if you find it for $20.
Honestly, let me know where.
Pat is a legend. And
She
it has
is.
nothing to do with the quality or how great she is. It just is a testament to marketing. Right?
Right, and this has nothing to do with the woman either. I think this is more just about the brand on its own. I don't know if like you agree with me, if you guys agree with me, but to me, perhaps the brand and the people behind the brand got just a little bit too confident at the wrong time. You know, then COVID happened and just like so many other brands emerged at that moment. So many brands and so many people were able to kind of catapult their careers and their brands. And I think a lot of other brands were kind of left in the dusk. I'm not saying that Pat McGrath Labs is one of those brands, but I mean, other outlets are certainly saying something along those lines. That's the tea that we have to share. I think today we need to try some products.
You were good?
I think we're good. Thank you for your input.
Awesome. I want to know how good the products are.
Let's go. Okay. We've got some.
Like brutally honest to me. You know?
No, of course, brutally honest.
If you've never tried these products, right?
No, these are new.
Right. So
Off the bat, the blushes feel very, very cheapy.
Right.
They're very light, very, very light, these duos. So there's 3 duos altogether. Let's see, looks like we got some bright colors.
What's the price point already?
Ooh, it's a good question. Let's pop it up.
Involved with. Did somebody else come in? Like you can notice the difference.
I mean, I definitely noticed the difference in the palette. So this just looks like a very generic kind of packaging, very, very lightweight, not the heavy Pat McGrath palettes that I'm used to seeing. Granted, these are much smaller pans. They are very, very pretty, very glittery, very shimmery. I don't know how they will perform, obviously, but the component itself doesn't feel luxe to me, but we're here to find out. So let's take a look at these little blushes. We've got a bunch of shades here. Looks like a nude, like a bright red, a little dusty pinky rose shade, like a dusty raspberry. It's like a nice maroony, rusty shade. And last but not least, we have like a vibrant fuchsia looking shade. I am thinking, let's do a little bit of nude. I'm gonna pick this up with my brush first. I'm not gonna swipe because I don't know how creamy this is and I just wanna go in safely. Oh, did you see that? I think I broke the blush. It actually, what? Okay, this is softer than I expected. Where's the pigment? Hold on a minute. Soft, but not very pigmented. I mean, pretty, very, very subtle, very, very subtle. Feels kind of balmy, like a little bit sticky to the touch, but frankly, not what I expected. I was expecting a little bit more. All right, let's test another shade. Let's see if maybe I need to twist it back down. I'm gonna go for this raspberry shade, Divine Rose Glow. Very subtle, you guys. Extremely subtle. I mean, I guess you'll like that if you like that sort of thing, but that's not really the branding of Pat McGrath makeup. I was expecting pigment. I was expecting something different, something punchy, you know? This is not punchy, nor is it very pigmented. All right, let's see if I apply this straight from the tube. Oh, what? You guys, there is hardly any pigment in these blushes. Do you see how many times I twisted this over my cheek? Excuse me. What is the point? I mean, cute, but I need to know the price. Okay, so these blush duos are $32 each. Right, these are tiny. These are very, very small. Let's see if I can make one more shade work. I'm gonna go for this really, really bright raspberry shade, Fuchsia Fatale. Oh, you guys, there's hardly any pigment here. Like, I don't know if this is gonna work on deeper skin tones. This is extremely, extremely, extremely subtle. First impression, I'm not that impressed, unfortunately, but they are very wearable types of blushes. I will say that in this balmy blush category, the Summer Fridays blushes are incredible. Very, very pigmented, yet very easy to work with and very easy to blend out. That's just like the one that comes to the top. Also, Fenty has a very similar formula, but also very pigmented and very beautiful, becomes one with your skin. And you can kind of tone it down like this, but you could also really amp it up. This, I feel like you can't really amp up. It can only work as a very barely there, very subtle type of blush. So definitely not for the current blush trends, but maybe the swatch model will like it. Well, I guess let's ask him. Hey, swatch model, we need you one more time. What do you think about my blush?
Very light.
You like it?
Yeah, I kind of like it.
I knew you were going to say that. This is a blush for men.
Yeah, it's like actually cute.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I like it subtle. You know, it's not, you know, it doesn't look like a slap to the face.
Okay. We know what this means. He likes it. Therefore, we don't. Thank you. You're dismissed. I'm just a little bit flabbergasted. Anyways, you guys, I think I need to put a little bit of powder on this face because I'm seeing just some creasing under the eyes, which is normal and natural. So I have this really cute mini Huda Beauty Baby Bake Banana Bread Powder. They have this new collection of just like these tiny, teeny minis, and it's so, so cute. There's a teeny little Easy Bake setting spray. There's just this adorable little mirror, like the cutest little mirror I ever did see. Look at that. Ah, what a baby. We've got some baby clips. We've got the cutest, teensiest little sponge applicators. I think they can go on my pinky literally, but this is perfect. And we also have some very mini blushes. But yeah, right now I just want to go for the powder just to kind of powder everything down. Ah, look at that adorable sponge in there. So, so cute. Wait, ASMR. There we go. Let's set that under eye. I'm going to actually use this cute little mirror. It's so tiny and so precise. I'm going to do a little baby bake with that. Also going to set my lids because the next thing we're going to try is that eyeshadow palette. I want to know who's the product development person. If Pat is developing products for Louis Vuitton, who is developing products for Pat? Because these blushes, they most certainly don't feel like Pat, is all I'm going to say. I'm just going to set the center of my face with whatever's remaining in this cap here. And then, should I continue with this eyeshadow palette or should I go into blush? Of course, let's continue with the eyeshadow palette. Since we're on the topic of Pat McGrath, I am just curious. I really need to know how these perform. So without further ado, I'm gonna dig in. This palette does look really pretty, but it reminds me of one of those slightly larger, free with the purchase type of palettes. You know what I mean? Like something that you would find in like your mom's makeup case back in like the 90s and the 2000s. This is kind of what it's reminding me of. Everything is a shimmer. There's really only one satin matte shade here, and maybe two actually. No, this one definitely has a subtle sparkle, but this is really the only transition shade that we can use. So that's the only one we're gonna dip into. I don't know if this is good, you guys. I have no idea, but we're about to find out. And generally, Mother Pat's eyeshadows were supreme. The eyeshadow palettes were collectibles. I most certainly collected them all. They were so good. They were always used on the red carpet, on the runway, in editorial shoots. Okay, this first shade is actually quite nice. I will say this is a really nice neutral transition shade. Oh yeah, this is a really, really subtle but beautiful eyeshadow shade that applies nice. It blends very well. There's no fallout. It feels quite creamy, quite velvety on the lids. Quite nice. I mean, for an everyday look, just to give your eye a little bit of dimension, this is a really, really good eyeshadow, this very first one. Nude Nirvana is the name. All right, so now let's add a little bit of drama. I'm gonna go for this shade here. This brown Mauve Mystique is what it's called. Okay, subtle. Again, subtle but nice. Easy to blend, easy to apply, nothing to complain about. I think this is definitely user-friendly. And I mean, with Pat McGrath, the woman, being such an icon in the makeup industry and in the beauty space, our expectations are obviously very high for her products because she's such an expert, because she has created products, and she's just such a legend, you know? Okay, I'm noticing there's quite a bit of fallout with this shade. The second shade has like flecks. Thankfully, they are light, and thankfully they're not sticking. Okay, good. Not a big deal. What do we dip into next? Looks like this is also a duochrome. Some of the eyeshadows seem to be shifting, specifically this one, from like a gold to a green to almost like a copper. Same with the one next to it, purple to what looks like a green. Really liking all these ones on the bottom here. They're giving Christmas, so I think I want to go for this green. I haven't worn green eyeshadow in a while. I'm just gonna dip my finger. Whoa, that looks promising. That is a very stunning black and green. It feels very, very, very holiday appropriate to me. And I feel like right now with Wicked being very popular, this foresty green is almost like a black. I'm seeing so many people making it, or wearing it rather, like a neutral, including myself. And I'm seeing a lot of designers also come out with items in this shade. So I'm kind of excited for it because it feels just a little fresh, just a little new of the moment, if you will. Quite a bit of fallout with that one as well, but I like the fact that it's sticking to my lid. Quite nice, quite nice. Let's see if I can flick off some of that green. Oh yeah, that's gonna stain. The green is not going anywhere. It is not flicking off. So this is a shade that I should have probably been a lot more careful with, but that's okay. I can definitely fix it with a little bit of powder. Not a big deal. And this is not on the brand. This is on me, obviously. This shade is pigmented. I should have known. I should have probably applied a little bit more powder underneath just to catch some of that pigment. There we go. Okay, cool. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna pick up a brush, dip it into that green, and I'm gonna start kind of like extending the outer corner just a little bit like that. Yeah. Then I'm going to go back to that mauve shade and I'm going to blend the edges. Ooh, this is nice. This is nice. I should always keep this tiny little mirror around because not only do I get to see myself up close and personal, but I feel like you guys can see what I'm doing a little bit better. Like I'm not covering half of my face with a giant mirror, right? All right, here we go. All right, so now I want to test out this sparkly shade, this brown next to it. Very, very pigmented as well. I'm wondering if I can just dab that right there for a little bit of extra. Something like that and something like that. Pretty, but I'm not sure if it's as impactful on camera as I want it to be. I'm kind of like putting in a lot of work, doing a lot of stuff, but I'm not sure if it's really hitting the way that I want it to. Or maybe it is, I don't know. Maybe this just needs liner. So now we need a little bit of a pop. I'm gonna go for this bright shade here. Looks like a pinky, a little Glinda for our alphaba, if you will. I'm gonna add that to the inner corner. That's a pop. Definitely very nice. I feel like these eyeshadows are better applied with your finger than with a brush because they need something to adhere to that's a little bit oilier than your brush. Same way, you need to kind of like stamp it on, you know, as opposed to brush it on. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. I feel like I want more. Okay, I'm gonna reach into this shade. This looks like a gold, but also a green, also a purple. And we're gonna pop that right on the center. Oh yeah, I think that made all the difference. It really did transform very dark forest green into something a little bit more fall appropriate, almost like a olive golden green, but it's quite pretty. So now I'm gonna go back with that green and I'm gonna mute the olive. I'm gonna kind of marry them together here because I really do want this to be more green than olive. I want this to be more Christmassy and more wicked. Okay, I see what's happening. Because all of these shades are shifty, I feel like I keep on making a mistake with one eye, and it's not that I'm making a mistake, it's that it literally shifts from side to side, and so it's kind of hard to tell if you've placed enough pigment. It's reflecting funny. I'm gonna leave it at that. I like the way that it looks. We're gonna add some mascara, some liner, and we're gonna make it all work. Let's go. I'm thinking I should probably save this gold with the mixing medium for another video, because I already have a lot going on, and I really just wanted to focus on the palette in this video, but I feel like it would also be good for me to find the original gold and compare it to this new version of the gold, and just to see if they feel the same, if it's the same manufacturing. I'll do that. All right, for now, let's finish up this look. Okay, I went in my stash and I actually do have some pat liners. I have the liquid liner and also the gel liner. This is from the Permagel collection, Extreme Black. So this I'm going to use my waterline like that. All right, and then I'm going to use the liquid liner, which is felt, by the way. Not my favorite type of liner to use for these types of eyeshadows or over these types of eyeshadows, because usually the eyeshadows and the pigments are just too dense, and so they seem to contaminate these types of felt liners. If you do use them, you have to make sure to rub the tip afterwards so that it doesn't dry up that way. You see, it's already starting to dry up. I always kind of wondered about that. Why would a brand like Pat create this type of felt liner to glide over her very pigmented eyeshadows, especially those that are foiled or sparkly? You know, it just never really made that much sense to me. Yeah, it like literally does not glide over that eyeshadow. You have to constantly keep on like working it on a piece of paper just so that the pigment can come out. Yeah, no, it's done. It's done. I'm just gonna seal that Permagel liner underneath my lash line, just like that. And then for my mascara today, I'm gonna use this Pillow Talk Push-Up Lashes from Charlotte. Charlotte and Pat, I would say, were competitor brands for a while, or at least a lot of people saw them that way. Both makeup artist founded brands from over the pond. Both were supposed to be very editorial, high pigment, high performance, similar price points as well. I always naturally kind of gravitated towards Pat for color and Charlotte for complexion. I really like Charlotte's foundations, although Pat's foundation is really, really nice too, but that's not really like the main focus of the brand, I would say. The color and the pigment and the fun is kind of like what Pat McGrath Labs is known for, whereas Charlotte Tilbury is definitely complexion queen, definitely about the blush, about the skin tone, you know. Okay, this look is giving. I was a little underwhelmed at first, but I think it's coming through. It's giving Christmas party in the city. Doing a little elf on the shelf. Gonna add just a little bit of that mauvey brown right underneath once more because I made some mascara mistakes and I need to fix them. Oh my god, this is actually turning out really cute. Why am I surprised? Okay, hang on. Okay, I grabbed my $6 or $5 Essence Lash Princess liner, my absolute favorite one. This is the best, most reliable, super, super black. tiniest one, goes in between all the little crevices. I just needed to fix that line. And there we go. There we have it. All right, we're almost through. I'm up to the most exciting part. I just got my hands on MAC's new holiday collection. And they've had quite a lot of collection lately. There was Dazzle collection. I thought that was the actual holiday collection, but apparently not. This is the new collection. I'm gonna pop up my unboxing here because it was just so pretty. So pretty. I was not expecting it from MAC. Like the prettiest, plushiest blush lighters with the most gorgeous shades. Gorgeous shades. And I have one more gorgeous shade to show before you can jump in because hello, this one is green and it's giving wicked. It's like Elfie. If Elfie and Glinda had a baby, right? It's also giving a little PIXI on the green type of vibe. All right, I'm done. What do you have to say for yourself?
I bet MAC Cosmetics is going into Sephora.
Really? How do you know all of these things? Who are you? Apparently, MAC is going into Sephora, you guys.
Sure.
That's pretty crazy. Really? Do you think I should try on this green highlighter?
Yeah.
All right, let's get my pixie green brush and let's try it. I mean, this is just really cool.
Early 2026.
Wow, you guys. In early 2026, you're going to be able to shop for MAC at Sephora. That's pretty crazy. I'm kind of sad for them. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm happy for the consumer, but damn, they have really been holding out all these years. Does that mean that MAC stores are going out of business? That would be the end of an era if that's the case. Okay, this green highlighter is actually giving something. I really like it. I think it's really cool. I think it's going with my eyeshadow. Definitely giving Elf on the Shelf. Yes, yes it is. But man, this is festive and frosty and just unique and very, very holiday, but not obnoxious, just like in the most subtle way. I feel like it kind of substituted for the lack of blush, you know? I wanted a pop there. I wanted to do something different, and this is really cool. I like this MAC. Okay, I like this a lot. Let's test out the other shade. So the green one is called Investment. How cute. Investment. And Butter Gleam is this one. Let's do a little Butter Gleam right below. Very subtle, but I see it. Very nice, MAC. Okay, I think I like this more than the Dazzle collection. The Dazzle was cute, but this is fun. This is what I like. I really, really hope sincerely that MAC stores aren't going out of business. I hope there will be MAC stores, and I hope that there will be like some MAC Sephora version. I don't know. But I really hope that like all the staples are still available at the MAC store. I don't know. I don't know. Why am I feeling this way? I never even worked for MAC. I was always the girl who was like too intimidated to go into MAC because the MAC employees made me feel like I was not welcome. But still, I don't know. They were that iconic and they were that intimidating and like they were the standard of makeup. So them going to Sephora is like, it's not healing anything in me. No. Here we go. Here is the look. We also have some really cute eyeshadows, very sparkly eyeshadows from MAC, but they do this every single holiday season. They create these like super, super sparkly, very pretty, kind of glittery type of eyeshadows. Okay, there's like a pinky green one that I'm gonna just dab maybe here, like my brow bone. Ooh, that added exactly what it needed to add. Just a subtle little sparkle. Yes. Okay. This might be my most favorite holiday look I've done. I'm not even going to a holiday party. I have a holiday party on Thursday. I have 2 more next week, but oh, this is a look that I may want to replicate. Cute. Last but not least, we've got some lippies. This packaging is everything. Look at it. It's this gorgeous minty glittery. I really like the fact that MAC did this. Do you see what I see? I mean, this is absolutely insane. I'm going to pop close up again so you could appreciate this. This is a see-through, light shifting, sparkly sugar crystal lip oil stick made in Italy. I want to try this. We also have a Maximal lipstick. This looks like a nudie kind of shade or like a mauve-y kind of shade. I'm not really a huge fan of mauves on me. Yeah, I feel like I could have skipped that. Oh, and by the way, on my lips right now, I'm wearing a lip stain and it's not the Huda one. It's the CoverGirl Brazen Raisin. That was my original favorite lip stain. I was wearing that like the entire year last year. And then Huda came out with hers and I kind of just switched. But anyway, this is the lip, the name of which is Pink List. I don't see any pink. I don't know if I care for it. I'm gonna blot that off. I also have this Rimmel 90s Nude I use on the corners of my mouth. We also have this MAC Lip Glass Air. This is not my favorite formula of lip oil. This one evaporates very, very quickly, but the color is most certainly stunning. I really do want to go for this lip oil crystal. This is just too gorgeous, too unique, very Glinda. Oh my God. I think I need to do this in my phone camera. Let's go. Do you see this? Is this not mesmerizing? Okay, let's go. I think this is one of those products that looks prettier as a product as opposed to actually on the lips, because I don't know if you can tell that there's like this hint of something sparkly on my lips, just like a hint of purple sparkle, which by the way only exists on the top layer of it. Once you wipe it off, it no longer exists within the lipstick, then it just becomes this bomb. So yeah, this is pretty, not practical. So if you're looking for that sort of glittery finish, you might just want to top it with one of these guys. In fact, let's do just that. Yeah, much more of an impact. For sure. I think we're clear. I'm gonna do one final last thing before I present to you the final look. I'm gonna add just a dab of concealer to my outer corners just to clean up my lip line here. And boom, here's the official final look. One more close-up. Close-up is definitely where it's at. I really appreciate the skin texture, the eyeshadow, the shift in the eyeshadow, the highlighter. You can even see the balmy glow of that blush. Kind of like my close-up more than what I'm seeing on the monitor in my big camera. Also, I do think that that primer is kind of softening my acne scars. Yes, you can still see them, especially right here. This is like where I struggle, but it's definitely a little bit softer. I don't know. You tell me. The lips, eyes one more time. What do we think? I tell you what I think. Out of everything that I tried today, I definitely can say that I enjoyed the Pat McGrath Gilded Nirvana eyeshadow palette. It is fun to play around with colors. I do appreciate all the sparkles and just like all the festive, bright type of textures, you know, and the sparkly finishes. I would probably prefer more than just 1.5 matte shades. Perhaps at least 2.5 would be great. Like this nude and maybe like a cooler brown or like something with a little bit less sparkle, something for blending, maybe a black. I really did like this green. However, there was quite a bit of fallout. This palette does feel a little bit too lightweight for a Pat McGrath eyeshadow palette that I'm used to personally. Will I continue reaching for it? Oh yeah. This definitely is giving holiday. So by no means is this a fail for me. I guess maybe I was kind of going in expecting something shocking, something really revolutionary, something different, something more along the lines of a 10-year celebration, you know, but a lot of the shades had the same similar sort of finish, very sparkly, a little bit shifty, you know. There wasn't enough variety. I feel like when brands like DANESSA MYRICKS, for example, when they give us super chromatic, shifty shades with sparkle, there's a lot of difference between foiled and metallic and wet finish sparkle, you know. So there's a lot of different finishes to play with. Similar with Natasha Denona eyeshadows, and I feel like this one just felt a little bit flat in terms of sameness. All the eyeshadows had a similar formula is what I'm trying to say, but by no means did I hate it. In fact, I really like this look. I actually am really impressed with this holiday collection from MAC this time for 2025. These eyeshadows, really cute, really subtle. I really enjoyed this beautiful Invest minty highlighter shade. This is something different. I wouldn't have thought to pair something like that with my look, but it's most certainly working, and I think a lot of people might actually like it. Surprisingly, it really works well with blush. I guess because blush has like a reddish undertone and this has a greenish, so there's this like natural sort of counterbalance, and it's a beautiful counterbalance at that. So that I really appreciated. One thing I will say for sure is that these blushes were just a little bit disappointing to me. They were very balmy. I felt that sort of finish and formulation before, and not from a higher end brand. And usually when a higher end brand does that kind of formulation, it's just a lot more punchy, it's a lot more pigmented, it's more in your face, it's more fun to play around with. This was barely there. It's cute for like the male appreciation, I guess. And by male, I literally mean straight male, but who actually is trying to impress them nowadays? Most certainly not me. So I guess there's an audience for it, but I don't know. I kind of expect a little bit more from my blush. Is this primer? I'm still testing it, but definitely I feel like it does something. It's not a gimmick. There is definitely like a little bit of a difference here that I'm feeling. What else? The new Huda Beauty minis, super cute. Really appreciate them. Like really cute, just like travel size. The smear, so adorable. These little clips, like who's gonna use this? Adorable. I love it. I love just like when things feel intentional, when they feel purposeful. You know, this mascara was nice. Nothing too crazy, but I don't mind it. So I guess this is my story. This is the video. I am sticking to the truth and the truth only. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. One more time, let's hear it and let's see it for this holiday look. Definitely not with this braid, but maybe you can imagine this with a slick back bun, perhaps with like a high neck, black or dark green kind of dress, perhaps a little velvety, you know? I see it. I like it. And I think I'm going to try to replicate it. So on that note, I will see you guys in my next video. I hope you have an amazing holiday season, this very weird abyss between Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's. It's kind of like time slows down, but it also goes by really fast. I hope you guys are enjoying this with your loved ones, with your family, with your pets, with your friends, with everyone. And so I just want to wish you all the best, send you all my positive good vibes, all my love, hugs, and I will definitely see you in the next one. Peace out. Deuces.